Jay here. Tupac Shakur is the greatest rapper of all times because he's had many accomplishments in life. Tupac is one of the only rappers who actually went out into black communities, spoke with gang leaders, and asked them to stop the violence. He sat with gang leaders and street thugs, took them out to eat at restaurants, and gave ultimatums to where they'll be able to stop the violence. He would tell them, look, if you do this and this and that for me, which is pertaining to stopping crimes in black communities, well, I'll do this and that for you. Not only that, but Tupac, he gave people money out on the streets. As Mike Tyson has mentioned, he's seen Tupac do this many times. What rapper you see walk around giving people on the streets $1,000 in cash? Not some organization or donation or foundation where no one never ever sees the money but the people who created that foundation or that non-profit organization. All of that is a bunch of bull. Celebrities and rich people create non-profit organizations as a tax write-off. So they're really not even giving away anything. Now besides that, Tupac was once the valedictorian of his high school class. And what that is the student who's typically having the highest academic achievements of the class. Which means that Tupac was ahead of his class, but yet he's depicted as a violent thug. Tupac was a poet. He used to do poetry, which is what has eventually led him into rap. Tupac was never a drug dealer. That's something that most people might find amazing, which is why Tupac didn't rap about selling drugs. He rapped about, violence and all types of stuff, fighting back, going against law enforcement and things like that. But he was really trying to send a message in his songs. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go online and we're going to see the achievements that they have set up for Tupac. Alright, now this pretty much says Tupac Amaru Shakur, his accomplishments. During Tupac's life, he has achieved many things. Here are 5 main things he accomplished. Tupac became one of the best-selling music artists in the world by over 37.5 million records in US and 75 million albums worldwide as of 2007. The Rolling Stone magazine named Tupac the 86th greatest artist of all time. Tupac became the first artist ever to have an album at #1 on the Billboard 200 while serving a prison sentence. MTV ranked him at #2 on their list of the greatest MCs of all time, while VH1 ranked him #3 on their list of 50 greatest hip-hop artists. Tupac's double album, All Eyes on Me, sold over 5 million copies in US alone, one of the highest selling rap albums of all time, and eventually certified 9-time platinum in June 1998. Whenever Tupac screamed thug life, people think that, he's talking about go out there and grab a gun and go commit a crime or sell some dope. That's not what he meant. He created that to try to unite the people from the streets. Then once he had them united, he would try and get them to stop the violence and put the guns down and stop selling the drugs. So he used that as a front only to gain attention so he could have the access and be able to reach these thugs. Then once he had them within arm's distance, he'll sit them down and talk about how can they stop the violence. So Tupac was a mastermind. He wasn't just a gangster rapper. That's considered entertainment for him. He mentioned in his interviews, it's entertainment. He knows not to go out there and sell drugs. He knows not to go out there and, shoot people and be in the gang and all this crazy stuff that people do. Why do you think he was never a part of the Blood Pyru set with Suge Knight and the rest of them? He stayed out of it, even though he, did some stuff with them, but he wasn't officially down with them. Even though he was around some of the things that was happening, but we're going to get to that a little later on. Right now we're going to focus on some other things that Tupac was known for, and probably the most prominent thing about Tupac, which has taken him to the next level above all rappers. He's known as a revolutionist, not only in America, but across the world. There's different statues of Tupac in Europe, Africa, and many other places and countries, where he's revered as a black revolutionist because of his lyrics and his interviews, how he always spoke up about racism, police brutality, poverty, and the mistreatment of black people all over the world. Tupac didn't only, base his knowledge on things that are happening in America. He spoke about starving children in Africa. He spoke about poverty. Tupac was well diverse. Only people who don't know him personally or, don't know his background only view him as a gangster rapper. And certain people knew what he was trying to do. He was trying to fix black communities and stop the violence, which is why they don't mention it online. All they do is talk about his music, his music, his music. Anyone can make music, okay? Music isn't that important. Because if you're not spending that music money to open up black-owned businesses in your communities, black-owned stores, hiring your people, then your music don't mean anything.
It's like, man, it's like the only thing we can really leave behind is culture, is music, and dignity and determination. That's what we had. So it's like, I feel as though I'm cheated because instead of me fulfilling my prophecy, I have to start one. Instead of me, doing a good job and carrying on the empire, I have to build one. And that's a hell of a job for a 21-year-old. You know what I'm saying? That's a hell of a job for any youngster, male or female, to have to build an empire for your family. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, especially when the odds is that, there's somebody else who lives in the inner city, the real inner city, suburbia, who, when he's born, 16, he gets a car, automatic. There's money in the bank for college. It's Christmases, go to vacation somewhere. Our vacations was down the street, cross town, grandma house. You know what I'm saying? That was the vacation.
Tupac's music is different. The first time I've heard Tupac music, I didn't even know who he was. But it was just something about the music that just moved me. Tupac music make you do things that you don't even want to do. You could be listening to music all day in the house, or you could be at the club. They could be playing, different rappers, different singers, and you won't dance. But the minute you hear Tupac, How Do You Want It, songs like that, his party songs, it just makes you get up and dance. His music moves you internally. It makes you feel different. A lot of people, they say Biggie's the best artist. They say, Jay-Z, Nas, DMX, Eminem. These are all great artists. But Tupac is on a whole different level. It's just that simple. To show you how much power Tupac have within his music, I'm going to pull up an article that happened a while ago, when someone has allegedly blamed Tupac's music for them going out there and shooting police officers. You never heard anyone's music made anyone do such things. Tupac music isn't the same like others. The way he says it, it doesn't sound the same. The way it makes you feel, it doesn't feel the same. And it's not because of his name, because he's Tupac. It's just something else. It sounds like he's supposed to be a rapper. Tupac makes rapping look very easy. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, the greatest rappers of all time is going to come down to only two people. And that's either Tupac or Biggie. So right now, I'm going to address this for you once and for all, so no one else will ever be confused as to who's the best rapper of all times. I've asked several people and they've all said the same thing. What they've said is that you can't really compare the two because the two have a different style and a different purpose of writing. They're not in the same category. For instance, you could take a rapper who only sings about girls, love songs and dating. You could match him up with someone else who sings about girls, love songs and datings. But they're saying that Tupac is a better lyricist, but Biggie has a better flow. And they both are in two different categories. Biggie is more of a ladies' man. He's the type that when you listen to his music, it makes you feel just chilled and relaxed in the club, talking to the chicks. He puts you in that player move. He's more smooth. But Tupac, the reason why they say he's a better lyricist is because the things he say is more meaningful than the things Biggie say. Tupac speaks about real issues in black society. Biggie's more of a hood rapper. He sing about the streets, kicking the doors, waving the 4-4s. He sing for the thugs. He sing for the hustlers, getting money, and he sing for the girls. But the things that Tupac say means much more. to black people than the things that Biggie say. But of course, people from the streets, they'll go with what Biggie say. People who are dealing with black issues, racism, the police department, growing up poor and impoverished, they're going to lean more towards Tupac. This is why he has like a legendary status across the world, because all the black people who are in poverty, who needs help, they like Tupac because they understand their situation and they know that Tupac is singing to them. Most street dudes, they don't look at Tupac as someone who's singing to the thugs, as someone who's telling them to go and kill other black people and sell drugs, because Tupac doesn't do that. Biggie does that. He tell them to sell drugs and bust their guns. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot compare the two. You have to get someone who's in Tupac's category. Someone who sings about black struggles. Someone who wants to see black people doing good. Someone who wants to unite black people and stop, police brutality. Someone who's like a revolutionary who speaks about black issues. You have to line Tupac up with someone like that and then see who's better. So really, at the end of the day, we really can't say who's the best and who's not, because it's so many different categories, so many different lanes. Some people, they came up making songs about smoking weed. Some people came up making songs about being a player. Some people came up making songs about crimes and violence. So it's different categories. You can't really say who single-handedly is the best. But I say Tupac's the greatest because he embodies a little bit of all. He sings about girls. He could sing about the thug life. He could sing about poverty. He could sing about starving. He could sing about people in Africa. He could sing about police brutality. All of black issues. Tupac has a little bit of everything. No rapper I know has a little bit of everything and touches every single category. What other rapper does that? Most rappers, they just sing about one particular topic or two. It's usually two. It's usually the streets and calling girls the H word, calling black people the N word. Is usually, that little small box. They can't be considered the greatest if they only sing about the streets. No way. Because there's more people that's against the street life than it is people who are in the street life. Now this is an article from the Chicago Tribune, and it's from September 10th, 1994. This is a long time ago. And the headline says, Gangster rap blamed for cops killing. Authorities say the sniper killing of a police officer Wednesday was a planned conspiracy by two 17-year-old youths, one of whom said he got the idea from a recording by gangster rapper Tupac Shakur. Here they go, labeling Tupac as a gangster again. Because they don't understand him. They don't know who he really is. They don't know that was just an image. Continuing, arrest of the two was announced Friday after an intense investigation by homicide detectives. A high-powered rifle with a telescope sight was recovered from a home in the near North Side neighborhood where the shooting occurred. Officer William Robertson was fatally wounded by a bullet fired from a vacant lot where police say one of the boys waited shortly after midnight Wednesday. The other boy, an escapee from a juvenile detention facility, acted as a lookout, signaling from a corner telephone booth when the van approached, according to police reports read in court. The shooter fired shortly after it turned. He watched both officers through the scope on the rifle and waited until the van turned the corner before firing one shot into the van. Assistant District Attorney Jack Stick told Children's Court Judge Russell Stamper. The youth who is said to be the shooter has an extensive criminal record with 5 felony charges, including arrest for possession of a handgun and drugs. He had been referred to adult court on those charges and was free on bail at the time of the shooting. He told officers he wanted to shoot a police officer because he had listened to a rap recording by Tupac Shakur, and that rap recording talked about killing police, and he thought it would be something he wanted to do. Stick told the judge. we've all has always known that Tupac was smashing Jada Pinkett. I mean, you can tell just by the way how he talks about her that they were sleeping together. I'm only kidding. Tupac has a great relationship with Jada Pinkett. When he was alive, he looked at her as his sister, someone that he loved. Even though he said that they weren't sexual, and she also said the very same thing. And with that being said, even though they both admitted that they've never been sexual, there are still many people out there who believe that they had something going on, something physical. Because whenever they see a male and the female have a good relationship, people can't understand that. And it's not Jada's fault, and it's not Tupac's fault. If they was meant to be good friends and understand each other, Tupac clearly, would have protected her. I'm quite sure whenever he was around her, he wouldn't let anyone mess with her, because he's that type of person. If he's your friend, he will fight for you, even if it has nothing to do with him. He's just going to take up for you. And I could pretty much tell that he was overprotective with Jada, by the way how he always spoke so sincerely about her. And this is why she loves him as a person, as a friend, as a brother. But the fact that Jada Pinkett is someone that a lot of guys will date or will sleep with, they think that Tupac was trying to do the very same thing. Because whenever a guy is a friend with a female, other males, they see that and they will say to themselves, if that was me, I'll be trying to do this with her, I'll be trying to do that with her. But these are the guys who can't control themselves. This is why women know that men are horn dogs. And this is why women use that as an advantage. So a lot of people, they don't know about Tupac's and Jada's relationship. And there's a lot of misconception whenever you speak about Tupac and Jada. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a piece of an article that's going to detail a few things about Tupac and Jada so that you can get an idea of the type of relationship that they've had. And this is from the Washington Post. It says Jada has cited Shakur as the reason she took her first film role in Menace to Society. The two also guest starred as love interests in a 1993 episode of the beloved sitcom A Different World. In an episode of Red Table Talk last year, Jada recalled Shakur being somewhat possessive of her despite the platonic nature of their complex relationship. For him, we were an anchor for each other, Jada said. So anytime he felt that anchor was threatened, oh my God. In a 2017 interview with Sirius XM host Sway, Jada said that her relationship with Shakur began at a difficult time in her life, and that their friendship was about survival. That's how it started, she added. And I know that most people want to always connect it in this romance thing, but that's just because they don't have the story. You see? So she's aware that people believe that she and Tupac had to be somewhat romantic. And I believe that a lot of that comes from the fact that Tupac, his image, that he's just blunt, he's real, he speaks his mind, and he comes off as being a street dude. And these type of guys, they like to sleep around. It's just that simple. They can't see themselves just being with one female. So they look at the average street dude as a player who sleeps with everything that comes his way. So because of the way how Tupac carries himself, they automatically think, he's a negative person. He's going to make negative decisions all the time. So here you have it. Jada mentions herself that they were just friends, but it was like a deep friendship, like a love friendship type of thing going on. And Tupac was possessive, meaning that he was overprotective. It doesn't have to mean in a sexual way. It could just mean that he sees her like a sister. He don't want nothing to happen to her. He always want to know where she's at, what she's doing, if she's okay. If he got to come fight somebody for her. 'Cause that's how Tupac is. So I believe that's what she meant by possessive. He want to make sure she's all right and nobody's trying to hurt her or do anything wrong to her. Because he sees her as someone more than just a friend. So now that we have a little insight of how Jada and Tupac relationship was, we're going to have to find out where did they meet? How did this all started? And right here it says, the Baltimore School for the Arts. And it says, Pinkett Smith attended the Baltimore School for the Arts, where she met and became close friends with her classmate, rapper Tupac Shakur. Now, last but not least, we're going to have to see how Will Smith felt about the relationship that Jada had with Tupac. And as you can see, it says right here, Will Smith admitted he was jealous of Jada Pinkett Smith's close friendship with Tupac Shakur, both of whom attended the Baltimore School of Arts. Smith appeared on The Breakfast Club on Monday and told host Charlamagne that he was deeply insecure and not man enough to handle that relationship, meaning that he was thinking himself that they had something sexual going on, as everyone else was. You see, so if Will Smith can feel like that, and he's a person that she's with, then that means their friendship was different. It had to be different. So not only does Tupac's music hit different, like I said before, but his friendship with Jada also hit different. They had a very close friendship. And anyone would believe that they was dating by the way how they acted. You know, he always hugged her. He always kissed her. He always held her hand. You know, you would think that is more than just friends. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I think he had to smash at least one time. Just for the record. Let's just do it this one time. Nobody have to know. I'm thinking it's one of those type of situations. I might be wrong, but many people still to this day believe that they had something sexual going on. Now we're going to go back to the previous article from the Washington Post, and we're going to see what Will Smith said to Charlamagne. The conversation then turned specific as Charlamagne asked whether Smith had been jealous of the love Jada had for Tupac. Will Smith replied, "Yeah," Smith said, preceding his confirmation with an expletive that was in the early days. Smith explained that he could never open up to interact with Pac out of insecurity over the close bond Jada shared with the late rapper, whom she met while attending high school at the Baltimore School for the Arts. They grew up together and they loved each other, Smith said, noting that Jada's relationship with the slain rapper was platonic. She just loved him like he was the image of perfection, but she was with the Fresh Prince. And it goes on to say, Will and Jada met on the set of NBC's sitcom in 1994 and began dating the following year as the actor prepared to divorce his first wife. Their blended family is also the subject of a Red Table Talk episode. Meanwhile, the contention between Smith and Shakur was so intense, the actor recalled they wouldn't even speak to each other. We were in the room together a couple of times, he recalled. I couldn't speak to him, and he wasn't going to speak to me if I wasn't going to speak to him. So Will Smith said he'd been around Tupac, and they just couldn't speak to each other. And he secretly envied Tupac for the relationship that he had with his wife Jada. What I got to say about this is that I think it's normal that Will Smith felt like that, and I believe that 99.9% of all men would have felt that way if your wife is close with another man. Whether it's friends or not, you feel like she's sharing the love that she's supposed to only have for you. So I believe that most guys would have felt the same way as Will did. Even though Jada confirmed that she wasn't sexual with Tupac, it's going to always be in back of your mind as her boyfriend or her husband. Maybe he smashed at least one time. That's why they're so close. This isn't a normal friendship. Something had to have taken place sometime, wherever, but I just don't know. Now, one last thing we're going to take a look at is what Jada had to say after the passing of Tupac. In a 2015 interview with Howard Stern, Jada recalled falling out with the rapper before he was killed at age 25 in a drive-by shooting. It definitely taught me a lesson, which is life is too short, she told Stern. Do not let disagreements stand in between you and the people that you love and care about. You see, so she confirmed that she loved and cared about Tupac. And she regret that she wasn't on good terms with him when he passed away, because now she felt as if she should have at least fixed that problem first. Now, when I first heard that Tupac had been shot 5 times, I've seen many people outside crying as if they knew him personally, especially the females. I remember just walking outside and I've seen black women, they're crying as if he's like a family member or, an ex-boyfriend or something like that. And that's when I realized how much people actually loved Tupac. Because here it is, a famous rapper who you don't know personally, and he gets shot, and you feel it emotionally as if he's a family member or someone who's you're close with. Now, the first thing that came to mind was, this had to be some kind of Biggie beef, because everybody thought it came from Biggie and Diddy. The little rumor was that Diddy put a hit on Pac, since he was beefing with Biggie. Because remember, the Tupac and Biggie beef didn't start when he went to LA. If you don't notice, you're going to think that that's when the beef started. Then you're going to say, so Diddy couldn't have, put a hit on him before that. This is why everybody thought Diddy put the hit on him when he got shot the second time and he passed away. Because that was after, he went to LA. But Tupac Ben was having problems with Biggie for the simple fact that Tupac have done a lot for Biggie. Some of you may not know, but he's responsible for Biggie's career, to be honest with you. Tupac had Biggie under his wing, because remember, Tupac blew up first before Biggie. He had Biggie under his wing. Biggie met a lot of people through Tupac. He was taking Biggie with him to go mess with the girls, to the studios, introducing him to people. He was paying for the hotels. Tupac even said he used to beg girls to have sex with Biggie because they didn't want to do it, and I don't know why, and I don't care why. But Biggie's first touch of fame and see what it was to be a celebrity is when he was hanging out with Tupac. He was a fan of Tupac's. That's why Tupac had an issue with him, because he was like, here it is, I'm the one who showed you the ropes, how to go about in this rap business, and now that you're about to get on, you making your little music, you doing this and that, you starting to wear Versace now, even though I'm the one that taught you that, I'm the one that gave you that swag, and everything else you know about the game, and now trying to act like you don't really know me anymore. So Tupac felt like Biggie used him just to get in the door. This is before Tupac went to LA. This is before he made the song Hit 'Em Up and Biggie made Who Shot Ya and all that other stuff. Also, Tupac said he had Biggie opening up for him during his shows. Because remember, Tupac was on before Biggie. He was already doing this thing. So for him to let Biggie open up for his shows, that says a lot. Because now Tupac fans are knowing who Biggie is. You know how many up-and-coming rappers open up for famous rappers and they get paid a few thousands? It might not be as much, but they're making some kind of money and they're gaining new fans. And Tupac done that for Biggie. This is why he said if it wasn't for him, no one would know who Biggie was. Tupac did a lot for this guy. That's why he was upset when Biggie, started blowing up and tried to act like he ain't know him anymore. As far as the streets is concerned, the two people named from the streets who are known for doing things, who are known for being gangsters and hanging out with gangsters, the two people named that was ringing along with Diddy was Haitian Jack and Jimmy Henchman. Now this guy, Haitian Jack, he's a known stick-up kid from Brooklyn, New York. He stuck up a lot of people. It's even been said that he stuck up rappers and celebrities. He's the type that if he sees something he like, he gonna pull out on you, trick or treat, give it up, I want everything. Even the earring, take it out your ears. And if you got a girl with you, he gonna rob her too. Just for the record. Just for GP. Just for being around while he's doing what he do. That's how he get down. But not only is Haitian Jack a stick-up kid, but he busts his hammer too. Don't get it twisted, because you have a lot of stick-up kids, they just rob people. They don't really want to, hurt nobody or clap nobody. But you have a certain few that they with whatever. They'll do whatever. That's why you have, a lot of guys, they robbing people with no bullets. They run up in the store with no bullets, and they end up getting shot. So that's the story on Haitian Jack. Now Jimmy Henchman, he's a hip-hop manager. He manages a lot of famous rappers, or at least he did manage them, because now he's currently serving a life sentence. He's helped a lot of people get in the door. You know, this guy, they said he's feared based on his name. A lot of people in the record industry, they fear this guy. And what he says goes. If someone doesn't want to get you a record deal, you go through him, he'll make sure that person give you a record deal. He even helped a lot of black actors, and these are people that made it to Hollywood because of him and his connections and the way how he does things. So these two guys, Jimmy and Jack, their name was ringing about this whole Tupac thing. At first, me personally, I wasn't sure about it, but I've been heard about Jack and, Jimmy. But at first, I just thought that it was, just some regular street thugs, but someone who was in the music industry that was behind it. That's what I thought at first, because I know ain't no famous person going to run up on Tupac, knowing that everybody know who they are. And it's been said that Tupac tried to reach while he was getting robbed. He reached for his hammer, and then that's when they started hitting him. He got hit 5 times. He took it and smiled, as he said in his rap song. So that's what I've heard. But here's the truth. I'm going to read this article, and it's from Tupac Legacy. And it says, in 1994, Tupac was in New York where his sentence of rape was to be read, a lawsuit brought against him by Ayanna Jackson. Just the day before the sentence was announced, the rapper had been shot 5 times in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Manhattan, New York. Tupac survived despite his serious injuries, and contrary to the doctor's orders, appeared in the courtroom the next day to hear his sentence personally. But what exactly happened on November 30th, 1994 at the Quad Recordings building? An artist named Booker got in touch with Tupac and offered him to record a song with a young artist named Little Sean. Pac agreed to do the track for the sum of $7,000 and went at Quad Recording Studios on 723 7th Avenue. However, Tupac and Little Sean's record never happened, as Pac was shot 5 times in the lobby of the studio. He was a victim of an armed robbery carried out by 3 people, and having reached for his weapon instead of lying on the floor, Tupac received 5 bullets and ended up in the hospital. It was believed that the man behind the shooting was James Roseman, also known by his nickname Jimmy Henchman. And you know what's crazy about that? There's numerous videos and articles where Jimmy continued to deny having anything to do with Tupac's shooting. Every time he been asked, he always said, "No, I did not have anything to do with it." He always denied it. Years later, he acknowledged his involvement in the shooting, and Tupac himself promised him payback in his song Against All Odds. Promised a payback, Jimmy Henchman, in due time. You see, so it says he acknowledged his involvement in the shooting later on. So I guess these are the lyrics to the song. I heard he was light-skinned, stocky, with a Haitian accent, jewelry, fast cars, and he's known for flashing. What's his name? Listen while I take you back and lace this rap. A real live table about a snitch named Haitian Jack. Knew he was working for the feds. Same crime, different trail. Boys pictured what he said. And I did mention, promised to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time. Same crime, different trail. Boys pictured what he said. And I did mention, promised to pay back Jimmy Henchman in due time. You see, so in this particular song, not only did Tupac mention Jimmy Henchman, but he also mentioned Haitian Jack. He said, I heard he was light-skinned, stocky, with a Haitian accent, jewelry, fast cars, and he's known for flashing. And that's how Haitian Jack was and still is. Now he's in DR, still living like he's in New York. Listen while I take you back and lace this rap. real live table about a snitch named Haitian Jack. Knew he was working for the feds, same crime, different trail. Boys pictured what he said, and I did mention promise of payback, Jimmy Henchman, in due time. Pac and Jack was cool. I believe that Pac thought he had something to do with it, but the person who was there at the robbery, one of the guys who was there, he came out and said that it had nothing to do with Jack. So probably because Pac and Jack had a fallout, that was just in his mind. He was like, this guy gotta know something, because Jack from Brooklyn, and the guys who did this is from Brooklyn. So gangsters know other gangsters. So that's probably why Pac thought that he knew about it, and he probably didn't tell him. Or he probably thought that Jack set it up. Now the article continues. In 2011, a new confession related to the shooting at Quad Recordings was made. A man named Dexter Isaac, who is currently serving a life sentence, but for very different offenses, said he had received $2,500 from Jimmy Henchman to participate in the robbery. Dexter said he was promised to keep all of Tupac's jewelry he could get, except for one particular ring that Henchman wanted for himself. Now, why would he want stolen property? Isn't that evidence? That's crazy, right? You would think that somebody who's been in the streets for so long would know that you're supposed to get rid of that. You're supposed to sell that. Why would you want something so you could show to somebody, and the next thing you know, they're going to say, yo, this guy Henchman showed me Tupac's ring? That's crazy. You're supposed to sell that jewelry. You don't keep it. Everybody knows that. I'm quite sure that's what this guy did, Dexter Isaac, or that's what he planned on doing. James Jimmy Henchman Roseman is currently serving a life sentence. He was sentenced to life in prison on March 23, 2015, because of the murder of rapper Lodi Mac, who was a close friend of the 50 Cent rap group G-Unit. Henchman is thought to have organized the murder of Lodi Mac as revenge for the attack that Tony Yayo from G-Unit did against his son. Before going to prison for the rest of his life, Jimmy Henchman enjoyed a successful career in the music industry. In the 1990s, he founded the rap artist management company Czar, and among his clients were stars such as The Game, Sean Kingston, Brandy, Gucci Mane, Salt and Pepper, and Akon. And that's just some of the people he managed. He managed much more. Now the guy who you're looking at on the screen is Dexter Isaac. He's the one that came out and said, he played a part of it. Henchman was a part of it, and Jack wasn't a part of it. Now he's an old school gangster from Brooklyn, a stick-up kid. But he was the security or protector for people who hustled. So that means he must have a rep if they paid him to protect them. So that's how the Tupac shooting really went down. But some of the things that Dexter has said that I've heard from an interview, he was saying pretty much that Tupac had disrespected Jimmy Henchman. That's how it went down. Because they were supposed to pay Tupac $7,000. Tupac wanted his money, and he wanted it quickly. But because Henchman was probably hesitating to pay him, or he wanted to pay him a different way, I think maybe Tupac wanted cash, Henchman wanted to send it to the bank, and Tupac was like, nah, I'm a street dude. I want my money cash. Bring it down to the studio or whatever. I'm going to lay the track down. So because Henchman didn't want to pay him the way he wanted to get paid, Tupac started running the mouth on him. Tupac started running off with his mouth, calling him out of his name. You a B. You ain't S. Just violation. You can't talk to certain people like that. People who have a street rap, if you talk to them like that, they got to do something to you. Because then other people going to feel like they could do the same thing. So that's what happened. Jimmy Henchman, his rep was on the line. And he felt violated because Tupac was running off the mouth with him like he was some little dude. Tupac was locked up. Suge Knight had contacted him. Tupac made a deal with him. Say, well, if you bail me out or you help me get out, I'll make this and this amount of millions for you. And you damn right. He done exactly what he said he was going to do. When Tupac came fresh out of prison, he was at the top of his game. He was going back and forth with Biggie. Tupac was doing movies. Tupac even became a great actor. Some of his best roles: Juice, Above the Rim, Poetic Justice. Tupac was one of the first rappers to really break into the acting industry, which has encouraged others to do the same. As the filmmakers and producers, they started looking for black gangster rappers and black musicians to be a part of their movie industry. Even though it seems as if Tupac was happy at death row, I've heard that he was in debt at the time he was with death row. But how is that possible when at that particular time he had an hit album, All Eyes on Me? The reason why I heard he was in debt is because of the contract that Suge gave to him while he was in jail before he bailed him out. I guess Tupac felt like he really didn't have a choice, but to sign the contract. Because everyone thought that, Tupac was rich and famous. He was living his best life ever. Because he always was in the studio. Tupac was like a workaholic. This is why Suge liked Tupac so much. Because he wanted to work more than anything. I mean, of course, he wanted to have fun, do a little partying, do a little drinking, mess with the girls, but 90% of the things that he did revolved around him making music. He wasn't just out there, wasting time on stuff that didn't have anything to do with him making music. And that's why Suge kept him in the studio, because he knew Tupac was a cash cow. He knew, and everyone knew, that Tupac makes good music. That's not a big secret. But it seems as if after when, Tupac passed away, I guess that's when his mother was probably able to get some of that money that he made for death row, through lawyers and going to court and stuff like that. Because it's ridiculous that Tupac wasn't a millionaire at the time of his death. Now, there have been some people who came out and said, you know what? Tupac probably really did smash Faith, because it seems as if certain situations transpired to where it looked like they had something going on. Also, Faith had come out and said something about her and Tupac herself. And this is what she had to say.
So I asked, when is your manager coming? When is they gonna get here? And then he said that I needed to suck his to get my money.
Allegedly, it's also been said that Biggie slapped up his ex-wife Faith. Once he heard that Tupac might have slept with her, but she denied it. She's denying it until this day. No one really knows what happened but Tupac and Faith. There are some people who's going to always believe that she and Tupac had actually done something together. Because Tupac was a well-liked guy, especially with the ladies. This is why I don't believe that he have done what the media portrayed him to do with that girl, with the sexual harassment stuff. I don't believe that. There's way too many girls that like Tupac. And Mike Tyson. He's another one that they lied on. Tyson didn't do that to that girl. At the height of his career, are you crazy? You know how many girls want Tupac and Mike Tyson? They don't have to spend a dime on a girl. They just want to sleep with them just for bragging rights. Just to say they slept with a celebrity. But Faith just cannot admit it. Even if she did it, she's not going to admit it. Because at the time, she's supposed to, belong to Biggie. And Tupac and Biggie had beef. So how would she look saying that she slept with the enemy? But behind everyone's mind, 90% of the people believe that Tupac and Faith had something going on. 90% of the people. Now, whether or not you believe it or not, that's up to you. But it just looked bad at the time when Tupac and Biggie had problems. Tupac said that in the song. You call yourself a player, but I effed your wife. That was a low blow. That was a deadly blow. There was people who was just outside reciting those lyrics. I remember people walking down the street just saying that one particular part out of the whole beef. You call yourself a player, but I effed your wife.
I seen you in a video with Drew Down did the other day on IG saying Tupac smashed Faith. Hey, you seen that dude? All I can say is this, and I hope my boy Hip Hop Daily is out there listening. This is what happened. I don't know if he did that, but I was with Pac. Me, Pac, Richie Rich, and Lips. If anybody from Oakland know Lips, we was together. We was eating dinner at Pac house. We went to the Century Club. He didn't have no shirt on, right? He had some overalls on, a coat, no shirt on. We in the motherfucking club, right? At the Century Club. We go, should I tell that story or should I hold on to that story? I should tell it? I should tell it. Yeah, I'm going to tell it, man. We fucking around.
I thought you were going to just sprinkle it.
Nah. These my people. You feel me? So, yeah, man.
We all listen.
Yeah. we going in the motherfucking we going to the Century Club, right? Niggas playing California Love for like an hour. You feel me? So I'm like, man, you know what I mean? We chilling, you know, we drinking drinks and shit. I'm young as fuck. You feel me? I'm young, but I'm with my big brother. This nigga just cooked me dinner. Quincy Jones' daughters came over. And we go to the club. So yeah, we go to the club, nigga. We come up, we go upstairs, and Faith is sitting in the corner by herself, right, or with her partner. And Pac do one of these to me. We walking like, come on, man, let's go up here. Oh, hold up, blood. Nah, come on, let's go. Just like you would do if you want to shake a bitch that you fuck. Nah, nigga, I don't even want to be by her right here. Come on, let's go over here. You feel me? And trust me, I know something about shaking a motherfucker. You feel me? I not wanting to be by a motherfucker. I'm like, oh. Pac was like, oh, nah, man, we can't be over here. And that bitch is looking at him with them with them crazy bitch eyes. You feel me? So I know that nigga fuck. You feel me? Because you don't want to, like if you lying on the pussy or you doing some shit like that, you're going to want to avoid that because you don't want no altercation. You don't want that to be brought up. But if you know, like, dude, my motherfucking dick been like so far down your throat, like I heard you choke, for real, you like, you ain't tripping. I don't want to be by that. You know what I mean? Bitch, I already heard you choke. I don't want you to be like, for real business. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my take on it, because I was with him and he avoided her like a bitch who had whack pussy or her pussy had a little smell. I'm not saying it did. I'm not saying that. But you know, like when you don't want to see a motherfucker, that one. For real though. You know what I mean? Females on that same shit though. Y'all know when y'all done smash somebody and he was whack and you don't want to see him and you don't want him to see you and you don't want to talk, like, nah, man, I don't want to holler at you. You got a little, you know, whatever girls, you know, little dick. I don't know. Yeah, little dick. All right, the way y'all do little dick motherfuckers. So I wouldn't know that shit. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna tell you. You know what I mean, my nigga. You feel me?
It's more than emotion.
Hello. You feel me? But yeah, though. Huh?
There was literally people from the East Coast and the West Coast were saying stuff like, I better not see none of those West Coast guys out here. I better not see no East Coast guys out here. Oh, it's going down. We're going to set it on them. We're going to pop on them. You know how they do in the hood, how they talk. And you had the shooters, the stick-up kids, that was saying things like, if I catch any of them West Coast guys out here, they're getting robbed, they're getting clapped, whatever. And people on the West Coast are saying the same thing about people on the East Coast. I better not catch none of those Brooklyn guys out here. They're getting robbed, they're getting clapped, they're getting popped on, whatever you want to call it. But throughout the midst of the whole beef, the Biggie and Tupac East versus West, Tupac was told specifically to mention only the people who he had beef with, because they was planning on creating a Death Row East on the East Coast out in New York. So that's why Suge didn't want to make it East versus West. They wanted it to be Pac versus Biggie. And they was trying to keep it on wax. They wanted it to just be a music thing so they could generate millions and millions of dollars. Diddy knew that and Suge knew that. Beef makes money. This is why it's not very smart to literally have beef. You know, go out there, beat up each other, shoot each other. It's smart to do it only for the money. Meaning, we're going to diss each other. We're going to talk bad about each other only in our music. But when we see each other, it's all love. It ain't no real beef. You don't say nothing to me, I don't say nothing to you. That's how you make money with beef. You don't literally go out there and fight and kill each other. It makes no sense. And Suge and Diddy knew that. But the two sides, the East and the West, the people who didn't know that, they were trying to make it like a real beef, East versus West. Then it was rumors about, Diddy putting the hit on Pac, Suge putting the hit on Biggie, this and that. It was turning violent when it wasn't really designed to do so. That wasn't the first thought. That's not how they really wanted it. Suge and Diddy both knew that this was their chance. They achieved what they wanted, to become the two biggest rap record labels of that time. Death Row and Bad Boy. It wasn't no such thing as Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and all these other people who you're running around talking about the top 5 dead or alive. Nobody was talking about them. It was only Biggie and Pac. When Biggie and Pac stopped rapping, that's when, everybody else started surfacing and, they started taking a shine. If Biggie and Pac was alive today, it would be no Jay-Z, no Lil Wayne, no Birdman, no Kanye West, none of that stuff. It would only be Biggie and Pac, because that's how strong their music and influence was. And these other rappers know that. That's why they really don't have a problem with Biggie and Pac being gone, because they like, you know what, they were stopping our money. Now I could go up to the top and make my millions. So while Tupac was in prison, Suge Knight has got him out. He bailed him out and he took him out to Cali, where he would start his newfound career, which will put him over the top into stardom. But the past beef with Biggie and Diddy, Bad Boy Records, will still be relevant. And also, a newfound beef will arrive as well, which led to Tupac being shot and killed. Now it's been said that, while he was still beefing with Bad Boy, he was making the diss records, Biggie was hitting back, Who Shot Ya, Hit 'Em Up. These are the songs that was feeding the flames and igniting the beef between Biggie and Pac, the two most relevant and best rappers at that particular time. Now it's been said that the reason why Tupac was allegedly killed is because of a fight that took place. Now it's been said that Baby Lane is the one that allegedly killed Tupac. Even his own uncle had came out and said it was him. So I don't know why people are still trying to figure things out and still trying to add other people into the story, while Tupac, Suge, and some more of their entourage was at the Mike Tyson fight. They came across Baby Lane because someone got robbed for a death row chain and the Southside Crips was responsible for it. With that being said, Tupac walked right over to him and he set it off on him. They jumped Baby Lane, they kicked him on the floor, and then later on that night, they came back blazing and Tupac got killed. Now what I want to say about this situation is that it could have had something to do with Diddy allegedly putting a hit on Tupac, because it also been said that Diddy put the bag on Pac's head for $1 million. Southside Crips, they took him up on his offer. However, if Suge and the Mob Pirus would have kept Tupac, out of the gang life, the gang culture, and away from the things that the gang members were doing, Tupac might have still been alive unto this day. See, because Tupac wasn't a thug. He was a rapper. He was only playing a role.
This is all about my image. Has nothing to do with me. This is all about my image. It's like MTV, all the papers, they building me up. Now they destroying me on the same image that they perpetuated. You know what I'm saying? I'm selling records. This is what I do for a living. I'm selling records. Don't get it twisted. This is not my real life. This is not how my real life is supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be really having all these villains in my life. I'm not supposed to be having,
People who are like Tupac, who are good at making music, they must be separated from the gang life. They must not be around when the crimes and the violence is taking place. You're supposed to just keep him in the studio making music. That's it. Point blank, period. That's what you have the other guys around you for in your entourage. They're the gangbangers. They're the thugs. They're the ones who retaliate. They're the ones who keep others in line when they disrespect. Tupac's job wasn't to go and snuff that guy. That's why he got shot. That, and if they had, the hit on him, if Diddy really put the bag on his head, they was going to shoot him anyway. But that made him do it even more quicker because that happened. But if Tupac was kept away from a lot of things, probably that would never happen to him. And the reason why Diddy allegedly put the bag on his head, because he felt like him and Biggie was the cause of the problems. Because it's been said that Diddy had allegedly said that he don't care if Big got to die, Suge Knight could go to jail, this and that. So Diddy, if he really said that, that means he don't care about Big or Pac or Suge. I guess that's when Diddy got paranoid and, he allegedly put the bag on Pac and Biggie, to be honest with you. Because it's crazy how, Biggie was out there with no security, only one person. But yet, him and Pac at this time was the two biggest rappers in the world. Who the hell get one security person for the biggest rapper in the world? That makes no sense. It sounds like they knew what was going to happen to Biggie. It seems like everything was a setup from the beginning to get them both out, Biggie and Pac. Now, some people was going around saying that Suge Knight had got Pac killed, which doesn't make any sense because why would he tell the shooter to graze him in the head? If he wanted Pac killed, don't you think Suge wouldn't be in the car with Pac? Don't you think he would be somewhere else while it's happening so it won't be obvious? He wouldn't be at the crime scene when it's happening if he told someone to do it. That don't make no sense. No OG is that stupid to put a hit on somebody and be standing or sitting right next to them. That's something a fool would do. Because why would you risk yourself getting shot too? And Suge came out and spoke about that. He said the same thing. Why would I tell him to graze me in the head if I put a hit on him? And Tupac was his money maker. Why would he want to do that in the first place? Whether Tupac wanted to leave Death Row or not, he could have still worked something out where he could still work with Suge and still do his own thing, start his own record label, or just do it independently. Because there's always money to be made. Ever since the death of Biggie and Pac, the music industry, the rap game, has never been the same. Even until this day, it feels like if something's missing. Because a lot of these other rappers that came after them is just not the same. It seems like now people are just rapping just to have money, to do drugs and sleep with girls and buy weapons and shoot people. When Big and Pac was rapping, they was rapping because they love to make music. The rappers nowadays, they don't love to make music. You could tell because their music is barely listenable. No one listens to their music except other people who are like them, who don't know what good music sounds like. Something is wrong. It's not the same. The rap game have never been the same since Biggie and Pac has gotten killed. And I'm sure everyone else feels the same way. It still feels as if something is missing in the rap game.